6-yard touchdown run for the young junior. 6 Ingram, and this is about just all he's got in the air. Guess to who? Mario Manningham, deep, 65.
Steel Valley game. Now it's just a great game for Harding. Alex Ingram, 24 yards on this scamper. Also 11 out of 18 passing, 174 yards on the night. That one is a touchdown. Richard Davis, another nice game for him. 34 yards down the near sideline. Set up a Joe Spain field goal. And Josh Suzanne to John Fahey. He had 117 yards passing on the night on Friday, but they weren't as good as this combo. Ingram and Mario Manningham hooked up for 3 touchdowns. Harding is now 7-0.
From there, it's school level. Canton McKinley and Harding, and Coach McDaniel's taking on his former team. First quarter, he was facing them pretty well. Richard Davis with a tough 6-yard score to give the Raiders a 7-0 advantage. Let's go to the second quarter, and let's go to the air. Alex Ingram, a deep pass. Watch backpedaling Joe Finnessy with a 31-yard score, 14-0 Raiders. More highlights for Harding. Then Ingram would find his go-to guy. That is Mario Manningham, and watch this run by Mario. He is amazing. 38-yard score, 31-7 advantage, and we're not done yet. Best play of the game, according to our intern Pete. The end around to Thaddeus Walker. He's going to reach the end zone, and the Raiders roll over Canton McKinley 45-21. They improve to a perfect 8-0 on the year.
Recover, but fortunately for Harding, they have a pretty good defense. Here comes Ben Elser, virtually untouched for the sack of Mike Schaefer, and Harding would take over from there. Alex Ingram on 3rd and long, no problem. Ingram will find Joe Finnessy deep for the touchdown. Raiders roll over Canton McKinley. It's not the Dogs' day. 45-21 is the final. Warren Harding knocking off Canton McKinley tonight in high school football. More college football.
Oh, it's good. Harding cruises tonight. Final score in this one, 45-21.
They were taking on the 3rd-ranked team in the nation, according to USA Today. That is Warren Harding. Harding leads 13-7. Isaac Cheney going to punt, fumbles, recovers, and then finally goes down. Fitch gets the ball in pretty good field position. Falcons looking to capitalize on the Raider turnover. Mike Alessio finds his way to the end zone. Fitch up 14-13 at this point. 4th quarter, the Falcons still up by 1. Raiders on the Falcons 12. John Richardson gets the handoff, fights through the defense, and into the end zone. They would miss the 2-point conversion, 19-14 Harding. Raiders trying to hang on late in the 4th. Richardson, the ball carrier, puts on some nice move, takes it 43 yards for the touchdown. That put the nail in the coffin. Harding wins there, goes to 10-0 for the 2nd time in 2 years. They knock off Austintown Fitch, the final.
Fitch. Now Fitch jerseys at halftime trying to inspire the team. Maybe it did. They went up 14-13 in the second half of this game, but the Raiders now leading 19-14. John Richardson going to break off a big one. They've got so many weapons, so many running backs. This 43 yards out. This makes it 26-14. Raiders go on top. Then Fitch trying to get something going. John Mang to Melvin Davis, but too much Raider defense here. Good speed and the bat away by Thaddeus Walker. That knocks it away. Then Fitch going to come down, fumble the football, but recover it, maintain possession. But late in the game, penalties hurt any chance of a Falcon comeback, and then putting it away will be the Raiders. They score the final couple touchdowns of the game. Perfect 10-0 season, poised possibly to win a state championship. Harding gets the win 26-14. Boardman.
Warren Harding in town. This is always a good game between these two Falcons. Trailing by 6, Mike Alessio gets going. A 15-yard pickup. Great run down to the 3-yard line. Next play is pay dirt for Alessio. He scores, and it's 14-13 Fitch in the 3rd quarter, but the Raiders respond with their own ground game. Not Richard Davis, not Delbert Ferguson, but rather John Richardson, the junior tailback, a 12-yard touchdown scamper. Raiders up 19-14. Then the backbreaker. Richardson again, this time in the 4th quarter. Goodbye. A 43-yard touchdown run, and Warren Harding gets their 2nd straight perfect season. They improved to 10-0 with a 22nd round. Game of the week where the Raiders were looking to pick up their 11th win of the season by sending Solon home early tonight. And speaking of early, that's exactly how fast the Raiders got going. First possession, first play of the game, Richard Davis on the toss, and he is gone. The future Toledo Rocket looked exactly like a Rocket today. 65-yard touchdown, Harding with a 7-0 lead. Davis far from done, though. This time he dodges a few tackles, and he's gone 30 yards to the house. He rushed for 192 yards on just 11 carries and 3 touchdowns. He only played in the first half. 14-0 Raiders. We go to the air. Alex Ingram to Mario Manningham, and this kid is awesome. A 20-yard touchdown reception there gives him a 21-point lead. And we're still in the first quarter, folks, when Ingram hooks up deep to Manningham this time, and he is goodbye gone. And so is Solon, a 77-yard score. Final in this one, 49-7. St. Ed's is the next team on the schedule to face the Raiders. Well, on the Solon home didn't take long either. Very first possession, very first play of the game. Richard Davis is gone on the toss. The future Toledo Rocket looked like one in this ball game. A 65-yard score gives the Raiders a 7-zip lead. Still early in the first quarter, and Raiders still going to Davis. This time he dodges a few tackles and ends up with a 30-yard score. He rushed for 192 yards and just 11 carries, and all happened in the first half. 14-0 Raiders now. They turn to the air. Ingram to Mario Manningham, who had 3 receptions for 115 yards. This one was a score from 20 yards out. And then they went deep. Still in the first quarter, Ingram to Manningham, and Mario is gone. And goodbye, Solon. A 77-yard score, 49-7. The final. Harding rolls into the next round where they will meet up with Lakewood St. Ed's. Elsewhere.
So Raiders would take over for their third possession. Alex Ingram beating the blitz. Short little pass to Mario Manningham turns into a long touchdown. 20 yards on the score, 21-0. Raiders on top. And then that Raider D steps up yet again. Nate McLeod making everybody on Bell Street proud. He comes up with a big sack right there, and that sets up the offense yet again. Ingram, deep pass to Mario Manningham, who runs underneath it, hauls it in, and races 77 yards for the score. All Warren Harding tonight. They get it 49-7. They will face St. Ed's in the next round, the second round of the playoffs. Cleveland Villa Angeles.
Straight year. Warren Harding finished the regular season as the AP Pole State champion. However, their ultimate goal is to win its first state playoff title since 1990. The Raiders will take their first step against Solon in a Division I regional quarterfinal next on Fox 1762.
Well, Warren Harding won the coin toss tonight, and they have elected to receive. Back deep for the Raiders, number 6, John Richardson, and number 8, Thaddeus Walker. Walker this season averaging about 18 yards per kickoff return. Richardson, on the other hand, averaging over 30 yards per return. His longest of the year, a 95-yard touchdown return for a score. The Raiders, Ralph, obviously feel that they can move the ball on Solon. One reason why they're going to take the ball first.
Yeah, a lot of times you see teams defer. Harding chooses to take it and get their offense on the field quickly.
So Kyle Wasserman puts the ball in play, but will not kick it deep, wisely so. And the ball scooped up by Jonte Stroud, who will take it up to the Raiders' 35-yard line. And that's where Harding offense will come out on the field to begin the game. The Raiders this season have averaged 37.5 points a game. And along the front offensive line, Adrian Barbudas is the center. The guards are Lonnie McDonald and Paul Bunsick, Rocco Cerrone and Dante Campbell. The tackles, Anthony Hoke is the tight end. At quarterback for Warren Harding is Alex Ingram, who threw for over 1,200 yards this season. Richard Davis, the team's leading ground gainer, has already verbally committed to attend college at Toledo. Mario Manningham and Pete Sparks are the 2 starting wideouts. So it's 1st and 10 for Harding as they open up from the 35. Toss to Davis. Cuts it back inside. He's got speed to burn. It's over. Davis is gone. First play, 65-yard touchdown Raiders. Well, Ralph, I think this may be a sign of things to come.
Yeah, it might be, and one of the reasons why Harding wanted the ball on offense is right there. Richard Davis able to take the ball, go all the way for the touchdown, and they believe in their offense, and there's proof right there.
For Richard Davis, his 18th rushing touchdown of the season. That's his longest run of the year, almost twice as long as his previous best, which was a 34-yard effort earlier this season. Joe Spain on for the PAT. He was 41 of 43 during the regular campaign. He'll kick the ball out of the hold of Pete Sparks. And we've played, 45 seconds of the opening quarter, and Warren Harding has a 6-0 lead. Now Joe Spain slips and falls, but still knocks through the extra point. And with very little time off the clock, it's Warren Harding 7, Solon nothing. Rob, how do you respond to that now?
Well, Solon coming in here knew they had a big job ahead of them, facing the state and nationally ranked team in Warren Harding. And, obviously they wanted to get off to a quick start, and it didn't happen. They had to just kind of put this behind them and know they're going to go down on offense and try to answer this score that we're seeing right now. And it's important that their offense comes out right now and gets some points, I think, because we've seen Harding before. Their defense is probably their strength, and you can't let them get on a roll either.
Now Richard Davis finished the regular season with 723 yards rushing. He's tacked on 65 more yards to that. And again, he's already committed to play in the MAC next season. He'll be a Rocket at the University of Toledo once he graduates from Warren Harding.
Yeah, I imagine there'll be quite a few of these Harding players going to commit somewhere. This is a really talented team.
So Joe Spain will now tee the ball up at the 40. Back deep for Solon will be number 18, Kevin Fink, and number 5, Michael Studer. So Solon has not lost since week 3 of the regular season. But they've now come into Warren, which is a little bit different caliber of football than what they might be used to playing.
Yeah, I don't think if you live around this area, you really know how good they are, and I think they got a taste right there on the first play.
This is Studer from around the 10-yard line. Goes down at the 19-yard line. Tackled on the play by the Raiders, Eddie Gore. And now the Comets will come out offensively. And we'll get a look and see what Solon can do with the football for the first time around. The offensive line tonight consists of Alex Satula at left tackle. Tim Carroll is the right tackle. The guards, Ken Rickard and Brian Piscitello. In the middle, Stephen Cribb is the center. The quarterback for Solon will be DJ Matz. David Ravita is the team's top receiver, and Brandon Shimitz is the team's top running back. He finished the regular season with 854 yards. 1st and 10 for Solon. Matz the throw, given some time, but then runs out of time, and Anthony Hoke drops Matz back at the 14-yard line for a loss of 5, and that's something that Solon will realize. You don't have a lot of time to find an open receiver.
Yeah, when we saw Harding earlier this year against Ursuline, one of their biggest strengths is their speed on the outside. If you're going to be a passing team and you're going against Harding, you need to do the 2-3-step drops and get rid of the ball. There's not much time to sit back there and look over that defense.
There's a look at the Raiders' starting defensive front. Anthony Hoke now with 8.5 sacks this season. Phil McNeil also had pressure the first time around. Tony Reed and Marquet Allen are the defensive tackles. Jante Stroud, Ben Elser. The linebackers and the defensive backs are solid as well, led by Joe Finnessy, who had 3 interceptions during the regular season. And Solon now will come up with a 3rd and long after going conservative on 2nd down.
You know, when you watch Harding on film as a coach, I'm sure you're certainly impressed, and I think that perhaps when you watch him on film, you think maybe you could match up in certain areas. But once you see him here on the field and you see how fast they are, it's amazing at times.
So it is 3rd down, and right from the 20-yard line, a little less than 10. Matz the throw, fires it through the hands of his intended receiver, Adam Stanowick. And Stanowick could not make the grab. He was 3rd on the team in receptions during the regular season, so Solon goes 3 and out on its opening possession of the night, and that is not a good sign for the Comets.
Yeah, you know, we talked about the importance of them coming and get a score, and even more so than that, if you didn't get a score, you'd like to at least put a drive together to get some confidence that you can move the ball against this defense. Going 3 and out certainly doesn't help the cause, and now that powerful Harding offense is going to get another shot at it.
Walker and Richardson back deep for Harding, awaiting the punt. Wasserman's kick is away. It's a dandy. Grabbed by John Richardson at his own 35-yard line. Richardson looking for a lane, and he runs the ball back into Solon territory and finally shoved out of bounds at the Comets' 41. So Warren Harding, already leading 7-0, will have outstanding starting field position for its 2nd offensive series of the night. And this could get ugly quickly.
Yeah, you know, Harding is such a talented team. They're so deep. They could run the ball, they could throw the ball, and definitely hard to match up against.
So less than 11 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Warren Harding from just shy of the Solon 41 will put the ball in play. Andre Boomer will come in. Joe Finnessy checks out for this formation. Deshaun Richardson will line up as the fullback. And again, Davis the deep back. Give to Davis. More running room. He's down to the 34-yard line. Stop made by Solon's Joe Boylan, who finished the regular season 4th on the team in tackles. Solon's defense will be tested. They've already found out what they're up against here tonight. The defensive ends, Chris Noonan and Jonathan Novak. Milton Hoffman and Dolph Hathaway are the tackles. The team's top tackler, Matt Ross, at middle linebacker. And Michael Studer had 5 interceptions during the regular season to pace that Solon secondary. So it is second down after the run by Davis to the Solon 34. Raiders need about 3 on the toss sweep to Davis. And he's close, and I think he has it as he runs the ball to the Comets' 30-yard line. So we knew Davis was going to see some time tonight, obviously, as the starter, but we knew that because of some injuries, he wasn't going to see a lot of time. And so far, they've run him 3 consecutive plays.
Yeah, I think once you get some success, you start to forget about those little aches and pains that you have. And once you get in that end zone, I think they go away a little bit. You know, you want to get more of that success. You want more of that end zone.
So Davis now with 3 carries for 77 yards. His 4-yard run has given the Raiders a 1st and 10 from the Solon 30. Davis for the 4th straight time, running right up the middle, and Davis is gone again. Touchdown Raiders. Richard Davis, touchdown number 19 on the ground this season. That's his 20th touchdown overall, and the Raiders have wasted little time in jumping out to a 2-touchdown advantage.
Here you see the run again, really not surprising. They're just running it right at that Solon defense, and Richard Davis, the athlete that he is able to get by that first wave of tacklers and really does it all himself after that.
Well, the Raiders used 3 plays to go 41 yards. Richard Davis gets the final 30 on his 2nd touchdown run of the night, and on 4 carries tonight, Ralph, Richard Davis 107 yards rushing and 2 scores. One of his better performances of the year came during the first half of the campaign when he against Cleveland Kennedy. Richard Davis had 168 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns. He may do that in the first quarter tonight.
Yeah, he just might. I mean, that's an impressive game for most backs. He has it on 2 drives.
So John Flaminio will put the ball at the 40, and this time he'll kick it away for Warren Harding. Line drive kick. Picked up on the play by Shimitz, the sophomore with a lane. Brandon Shimitz out to the 36-yard line, tackled on the play by the Raiders' Vince Whitehead. Brandon Shimitz has been quite a story this year for Solon, just a sophomore, yet he racked up 854 yards rushing this season and has 15 touchdowns. So number 28 trying to make his presence felt. And here's a comparison of the 2 backs. Richard Davis, who we've already seen show off his talents. Now we're just waiting for Shimitz to show up.
Yeah, really, when you look over the Solon Comets roster, there's a lot of young players that are at the skill positions, and you got to believe that this is a team that's going to be good for a couple years.
So from the 37-yard line, Solon with a 1st down and 10. DJ Matz to throw off the roll. Lobs it complete to his fullback, Alex Takei. And Takei is in Warren territory. And Alexi Takei takes the ball to the Raiders' 41. During the regular season, Takei had just 7 receptions, but he'd been averaging 17 yards per grab.
Yeah, I think really the Harding defense right now is just kind of pinning their ears back and taking off. They really didn't respect that play fake, and Takei was able to get out in the flats and gain some good yardage there.
Takei finally run down from behind by Joe Finnessy and then knocked out a play by Thaddeus Walker. But it's a 1st down for Solon, and DJ Matz came in averaging 136.5 yards a game through the air. He had been completing about 54% of his passes. He'll go back to Shimitz, though, on the ground, and the Raiders are there quickly for the stop. Marquez Allen comes up initially, also assisted on the play by Nate McLeod, and Shimitz goes down at the 40.
Yeah, you talked about Matz and his ability to throw the ball. When you look out there on the field right now, Harding is willing to go man on most of the receivers. So if Solon wants to take a chance, obviously I think they're going to take one early and see what they could do. But again, you have to remember that speed and athleticism on that Harding defense.
So after the gain of 1, the ball sitting on the Warren 40, Solon with a 2nd down and long. Matz to throw, pressured by Allen, dumps it off but short of the intended receiver. And the pass is incomplete. That time DJ Matz looking for his tight end, Danny Paddock.
Yeah, he looked downfield on that. He looked at both the receiver there, Mike Studer and Ravita. He looked downfield to go deep, but they were both well covered. Then he had to look to his outlet man and was getting pressure, just kind of got rid of the ball. But I think for them to be successful, they're going to have to try to spread out this Harding defense a little bit.
So it is now 3rd and long for Solon from the Raiders' 40-yard line. We still have over 8 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Warren Harding already leading 14-0. Trips to the bottom of your screen. And DJ Matz will line up out of the gun. Slow snap to Matz. delivers the pass complete, however, to Studer. Michael Studer, though, short of the first down marker, tackled by Thaddeus Walker at the 36-yard line. So a gain of just 4, but the speed of Warren Harding pays off right there.
Yeah, really, when you see this play in the booth here, he catches it. It looks like he has a lot of room to run, but here you'll see Thaddeus Walker cover a lot of ground quickly and make a great tackle after really only a 4-yard gain.
Yeah, DJ Metz, 2 of 4 passing tonight for 26 yards. First time that he has found Studer, who makes his 38th grab of the season. But the gain leaves the Comets with a 4th down predicament from the Warren 36-yard line. Matt's off the roll, steps up, McLeod pressured him, and now the Raiders finally get a hold of the quarterback. Deshaun Robinson gets credit for the sack. Matz goes down at the 41, and Harding takes over on down.
You have to believe that DJ Matz and that Solon offense haven't seen anything like this all year. He really doesn't have a second to even look. By the time he drops back and sets, he's surrounded by Harding defenders, and there you see Deshaun Robinson with the sack.
So Deshaun Robinson doubling as the fullback tonight. And the Raiders will go with a different starting quarterback here. So Alex Ingram is out. In is Rashawn Shannon. Richard Davis, however, remains the deep back. Except this time around, Jimmy Butts is the fullback. Shannon throws, trying to find Mario Manningham, but the pass is incomplete. And Shannon threw only 1 pass during the regular season, completed that for 16 yards. Misfires in his first attempt here tonight. Surprised that Ingram's out already, Ralph?
Well, I don't think he's out for good. I think maybe you get Deshaun Robinson. I think maybe you get him in there a little bit. Rashawn Shannon, I should say. Get him in there a little bit. Get him some playoff experience being the quarterback, because you never know when you might have to go to that guy again. So maybe you get him in here for a drive or two.
Shannon, a 5'8", 141-pound junior. And now to 2nd down and 10 for Harding from its own 41. Back to Davis. Gets the corner, runs to midfield, pulled to the ground on the play by Joe Boylan. And it's a gain very close to another 1st down for Warren Harding, and it's almost as if they're just toying with Solon's defense.
Yeah, you know, we talked about Richard Davis, aches and pains, but if he doesn't get, touched till a 10-yard gain, he's not going to get out of there. He's going to want in there and rack up the yardage. And really, besides that pass, everything they've done has really worked tonight.
So it's 3rd down and short now for Warren Harding. Raiders haven't had to worry about too many 3rd down opportunities tonight. But they're facing one here with just over 6 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Shannon gives again to Davis. He has the 1st down as he runs the ball to the Solon 47. Tackle made by the Comets' Matt Ross, who during the regular season, believe it or not, had 113 stops from his middle linebacker position.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. And you look at Solon's schedule, they play a tough schedule, and he's one of the leaders on that defense and came up big there, and seemingly has come up big all year.
Davis now with 119 yards rushing on just 6 carries here in the first quarter, and we're not even halfway through the period. Again, Rashawn Shannon remains in at quarterback for Harding, and he'll give to John Richardson, who had a breakout game a week ago against Fitch. Richardson runs the ball to the 41. Richardson, a 5'9", 176-pound junior, finished the regular season with 470 yards rushing, but he had 134 in Week 10 against Fitch, including 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, when you look at a guy like John Richardson, and you look at that Harding roster, they have guys like Richard Davis. We know the injured Delbert Ferguson, and you could bring a guy of the caliber of John Richardson off the bench, and he can perform like he has the last couple weeks. I mean, it's a statement to the depth of this team.
Delbert Ferguson was lost in the game against Massillon with a broken leg, and he's out for the season after undergoing surgery. Deep handoff, Richardson in trouble. Solon came through very quickly that time, and the Comets defense finally steps up and makes a big play. And this time around, it's Jonathan Novak coming up with the big stop.
Here you see really a jailbreak up front. They sent both linebackers. The D-line gets good penetration, and really for the first time tonight able to really stymie what Harding wanted to do.
So the loss takes the ball back to the Comets' 49-yard line. Loss of 2 on the play. Could have been a lot worse. There's a look at the Raiders bench. Tom McDaniels on the far right. Richard Davis right up the middle. Picks his way through the Comet defense to the 39-yard line. Finally knocked down by Ross and assisted by Steve Valentino. But the gain of 10 leaves Harding with a 3rd and short. Or 4th down now. That's right. 3rd down moves into 4th down. And the Raiders are going to punt. Isaac Cheney will come out and punt the football away. We saw Cheney against Ursuline have himself a whale of a night, pinning the Irish deep inside the 10 a couple of times. In fact, you're in the Steel Valley Conference Player of the Week honors for that game against Ursuline earlier in the season.
Yeah, we considered him for our Player of the Week honor as well. He put a great job that night, and see what he could do tonight, but he's not going to get a chance.
Nope, the snap to John Richardson. He has the first down for Warren Harding, so the Raiders run the fake, and it's successful. Richardson runs the ball to the Comets' 26-yard line, and Harding will maintain possession.
But just when you think Solon gets a break and holds Harding, they come with the fake punt, and obviously I kind of wondered why they weren't going to go for it anyways, 4th and short, the way their offense has been rolling, but they decided to go a little bit different route with the fake punt and get it anyways.
And now Alex Ingram will return in at quarterback for Warren Harding, so the Raiders go back to their starter under center. 1st and 10 for the Raiders from the 26 of Solon. Still over 4 minutes remaining here in the first quarter. Raiders up 14-0. Ingram taking his time. And finally takes a snap and wants to throw. Steps up, he can run, and here goes Ingram down to the 20-yard line. Upended on the play. After a gain of 6. Tackle registered by Jared Armstrong.
Yeah, you see a little drop, nothing doing out there. Doesn't see any receivers open, just decides to tuck it and run it. We talked about Alex Ingram earlier, what a great athlete he is, and he definitely run the ball if he needs to, and does so for 6 yards right there.
Ingram during the regular season carried the ball 68 times for 280 yards and had 3 scores to his credit. Second down now from the Comets, 20. They'll set up the screen. If Ingram can get it away, he cannot. Just throws it out of bounds. They wanted to swing it out to Richard Davis, and Solon did a nice job of not coming in too quickly, Ralph, and giving themselves away.
Right, a lot of times when you set up the screen, you just want that defense to run at you and forget about that back that's kind of sneaking out there into the flat, but they kind of see that that's coming, able to float some guys back there, and Alex Ingram does the smart thing, throwing it out of bounds.
So the ball returns to the Comets' 20-yard line. Harding now faced with a 3rd down and 4. Less than 4 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Harding has scored on its initial 2 drives of the night. Solon coming with pressure off the corner, pass to Mario Manningham. This is trouble. Don't let him loose. Solon did. Touchdown Raiders. oh my. I love to watch him handle the football.
I know he's one of your favorites, and he just made something out of nothing right there. Little swing pass, and good pressure put on by the Solon Comets, but Mario able to get that ball, and here you see a good pressure. The little pitch to Mario, and really get some nice blocks out front. There you see number 33, Andre Boomer, blocking up front, and there you see the speed and athleticism gets Mario into the end zone.
He is so much fun to watch. His 10th touchdown reception of the season for Ingram. His 17th touchdown pass of the year against only one interception, and we saw that during our earlier game of the week against Ursuline. Joe Spain's extra point, nice shot from the end zone, proves that it's good. And now, with 3 minutes and a few seconds remaining in the first quarter, it's Warren Harding 21, Solon nothing. Ralph, did you expect this early outburst by the Raiders?
Well, we knew Harding was good. We knew that they were a talented team. Obviously, being ranked what they are, they have talent. But I just got to feel like Solon just got to be shell-shocked a little bit right out the gate. I really thought that they could compete and stay with them a little bit, and Harding would eventually pull away. But I didn't expect 21-0 before the second quarter, that's for sure.
And we've always said, for Warren Harding, when you face the Raiders, you have to withstand that early storm. And that early storm is always the first quarter because they love to jump on you quickly. And Solon just has not been able to overcome the Raiders' early start here. And that's a shame because, you know, Jim McQuaid, the new head coach for Solon, returns to Warren. He's a Warren Kennedy graduate. In fact, he played against Warren Western Reserve during the Raiders' first year of existence back in 1966. McQuaid, after coaching in Cincinnati at LaSalle High School for 4 years, earlier coached at Lakewood St. Edwards, has taken over the Solon program and has led the Comets to the postseason for the 5th consecutive season. But he knows what Warren football's about. I don't think he could get that across to his team until they saw it firsthand tonight.
Yeah, seeing things on film, like I mentioned earlier, is a lot different than seeing it out here on the field. And Harding is an impressive football machine. That's the only thing you can call him.
Joe Spain's kickoff deep. Studer from the 11-yard line. Looking for a gap, and he found it. And Studer knocked down at the 38-yard line. by the Raiders' Jimmy Butts, but Michael Studer showing some nice speed. That maybe has been the best play so far for Solon, that kickoff return.
Yeah, he does have nice speed, and I really think that against another team, those might be gone, or those might be kickoff returns that get him out to the 50 or almost in, the red zone. But against this Harding defense, I hate to sound like a Harding fan and so pro Harding, but the speed on this team is just amazing.
So from the 38-yard line, first down and 10 for the Comets. DJ Matz to throw. He'll have to go to the air a heck of a lot here tonight. Pass for Dave Ravita is incomplete. Ravita during the regular season, second on the team in receptions with 31. However, he was unable to reach the end zone this year. Well, that's the thing. If DJ Matz is going to have to go to the air regularly, this is a kid who's prone to the interception. During the regular season, Matz threw 6 touchdown passes but was picked 7 times. We could see the Raiders do a repeat performance of what they did at Massillon, and that's come up with some big interceptions defensively.
Yeah, they could score with their offense, and Harding could score with their defense, that's for sure.
Schmitz horse-collared on the play by the Raiders' Preston Kelson. And Schmitz grabbed right at the line of scrimmage. Now here's a look at our quarterback comparison. As we had talked about Alex Ingram, look at the touchdown to interception ratio during the regular season. He had completed 60% of his passes. DJ Matz threw for 1,365 yards, completed 54% of his passes, but you don't like that 6-to-7 ratio, touchdowns to interceptions.
It's kind of surprising to see that he has so many yards passing and only 6 touchdowns out of that, but still impressive. But really the thing that impresses you is Ingram's interceptions numbers.
Matz off the screen, throws complete to Studer. Here's his speed in the open field. Studer's got a convoy. He's in Raider territory and run out of bounds at Harding's 35-yard line. And the man that made sure he went out of play was the Raiders' Ben Elser. But you've got to get the ball in the hands now of Michael Studer.
Yeah, Studer's been impressive on the kickoff returns. He's impressive here on the little dump pass. But again, the misdirections, the movement opposite of the way the play is going is what has worked so far for Solon, and they do it again right here, utilizing the speed of number 5, Mike Studer.
Gain on the play of 27 yards. Matz is now thrown for 53 yards tonight. His most recent completion has given Solon a 1st and 10 at the Warren 35. 2 minutes left here in the opening quarter. Comets just looking for some hope. Fullback runs the ball for the Comets, Alexei Tegay, and he is upended after a gain of about 1 yard. Tegay, during the regular season, averaged more than any other back per carry, about 6.5 yards a carry. Tegay finished with 439 yards rushing during the regular season and a couple of scores.
We don't mean to sell this Solon team short anyway, but if you look at their offensive line, they have some big guys up there. I mean, they physically match up well against that Harding defensive line, but that Harding strength and speed up front is really getting some penetration, which is throwing off that running game really for both backs.
2nd and long now for the Comets from the Raiders 34. Matz off the play action, throws into no man's land. Looked like the pass was intended for Michael Studer, and it sailed over his head and incomplete.
Yeah, really, and I'm not positive on this, but I don't think he's really thrown to a receiver necessarily besides Studer. The backs might be there once in a while, and really nothing else downfield. So obviously Studer's his favorite target. He's looking for pretty much only him, but Harding defense, especially that Harding secondary, doing a nice job in coverage.
Well, Solon 1 for 3 so far on 3rd down conversion attempts. They'll have one here from the Harding 34-yard line. Pressure on Matz. Nate McLeod has him back at the 45-yard line. And another sack on the Solon quarterback, DJ Matz, the 2nd time he's gone down tonight.
And again, Matz has no time to do really anything on this. Able to flush out of the pocket there to his right. Tried to get away from one defender, and Nate McLeod's right there. So yards are tough to get tonight for these Solon Comets.
The loss of 11 takes the ball back to the Harding 45. So the Comets will have to punt. Kyle Wasserman had one punt earlier tonight, covered 45 yards. This one he'll punt to Mario Manningham. Manningham horse-collared and grabbed at the 21. That's where he's brought down. Manningham's already taken one punt back for a score this year, but Solon does a nice job making sure he goes no further than the 21. And with a little over a minute left in the opening quarter, the Raiders get the football back.
It'll be interesting to see. We saw, Manningham get the ball a couple times on Harding's last offensive series, where they've been little swing passes, but if you look at the corners from Solon, they're 5'9", one of them, and we'd like to see him matched up there with his speed and height on number 5, Mike Stutter.
They put the ball down at the 24. Now they got to move it back to the 21. Yeah, the chains are set up at the 21-yard line. You see the officials congregating at the 24, and they're pointing at the chains.
Yeah, Harding doesn't need help.
No.
They don't.
No, don't give them a 1st and 7.
No.
I mean, at this stage, you might as well tie one hand behind their back, and the Raiders could still move the ball. So now they move it back to the 21, which is where the drive should start. Here's a look at our officiating crew for the night. Bruce Seabrook is our referee. Robert Davis is the umpire. So first down for the Raiders as they set the ball down properly on the Harding 21. Davis remains the deep back, and he'll take the handoff again. Heads out to the 23-yard line. Gain of 2 on the play. Tackle for Solon made by Jared Armstrong. Already Davis with 131 yards rushing here in the first quarter. And we're inside of a minute remaining in the period. And Harding's already put up 3 scores on the board. Down to a half-minute remaining here in the first quarter. Now Richardson and Davis teamed up in the backfield. That's a potent combination. They'll stay to block, though. Ingram throwing deep. He has Manningham. Manningham's got it. You're not going to catch him. Touchdown, Raiders. Mario Manningham, 2nd touchdown reception of the night, but let's credit Alex Ingram for a very well-thrown football.
It's a well-thrown football, and like I said earlier, when you have a 6-foot guy and a 5'9" guy, that's good. You know, that's a battle you'll take every single time if you're Harding, and just a matter of time till you threw it up there and let Mario go to work. And like you said, great pass, great catch, and just the speed. We talked about how fast Stutter was a couple minutes ago, and here you see Mario Manningham pull away from him in the open field.
A 77-yard pass play. Manningham's 2nd touchdown reception of the night. For Ingram, he's now 2 of 3 through the air for 97 yards. And still, with time remaining in the first quarter, Harding up 27-0. The extra point by Joe Spain, who's going to have a tired leg by the end of the night, is upcoming. Good as well. Spain a perfect 4 of 4 in the first quarter. And it's now Harding 28, Solon nothing. And this is as impressive a first quarter showing as I've ever seen out of a Warren football team.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of football this year, and by far we thought that Harding was one of the most talented teams we saw this year, and now seeing them tonight, just unbelievable.
You know, during the course of the regular season, a lot of people felt that they didn't get Mario Manningham the ball enough. He led the team in receptions during the regular season with 23 grabs, but people realize that the kid's very talented. He's soft-spoken. He's just a junior, but we've seen the 2 big weapons for Warren Harding displayed here in full power, and that's Richard Davis and Mario Manningham.
I think when a lot of teams come here, a lot of college teams come here to scout Harding and to see which players they would like to recruit, they have to be impressed by number 1.
So Solon now has to figure out how they want to keep this game respectable. Michael Studer back deep, along with Brandon Shimitz. Joe Spain will tee it up. He's kicked off 3 of the 4 times so far. Most points given up this year by Solon in any one game, 45 in week 3 to Meta. That was the last time they lost. Studer from the 6. Again, he's got a lane. And he's tackled on the play by the Raiders, Sean Peterman. Studer returns the kickoff to his own 29-yard line. And with 11 seconds to go, Solon gets one more shot here in the first quarter.
You know, you reach a point in games like this where, as a player and a coach, you just kind of shake your head. You don't know what to do. You know, you could plan everything. You could have the greatest plays in the world, but really, when you're outmatched athlete-wise, it's hard to do anything.
Toss sweep to Shimitz. Hit by Andre Boomer and Jonte Stroud and knocked out at the 36-yard line. Gain of 7. And I know they're excited about the play of Brandon Shimitz over the next few years at Solon, but so far tonight he's been stymied. We're through 1 quarter of play from Molotov Stadium in the Division I Region I quarterfinal. We'll head to the second quarter with our score. Warren Harding 28, Solon nothing. You're watching the high school football game of the week, Saturday night edition on Fox 1762. So we are set to get the second quarter underway. Solid turnout for Warren. Very happy with what the Raiders did in the first quarter, scoring 28 points. Solon gets the ball as the period begins. And from the 36, the gain goes out close to the 40-yard line. And again, it's Shimitz with a gain of 4, and he's very close to the first down marker.
Referee helping him out a little bit. I think it's a pretty generous spot, giving the first down. But at this point, you try to give Solon a little help there.
You know, there's, Ralph, what you're talking about. I mean, there's a good look from the end zone, and some of the guys on the offensive line. Brian Piscitello is number 76. He's 6 feet 235. Number 73, Stephen Cribb is 6'2", 230. So they're not a small team up front, but that you know, speed kills, and I would take speed over size any day of the week.
Yeah, really, that's the trend in all levels of football anymore, is to go with those guys that are just burners.
DJ Matz at quarterback for Solon. Looks like he's audibilizing there. Wants to throw, but throws the ball behind his intended receiver, David Ravita, and the incompletion will bring up second down now for the Comets.
You know, a lot of offensive line coaches carry stopwatches and see how long they give their quarterback to throw, and I think if you had a stopwatch tonight, you wouldn't be able to click it fast enough. He just gets back one step, and he has someone in his face already.
Matz now 3 of 8 passing for 53 yards in the game. He's missed his last 2 pass attempts, including the one that brings up second down for the Comets from their own 40-yard line. Fake toss to Shimitz. Inside give to the fullback, Alexi Tegay. No one fooled. The Raiders stopped Tegay at the 39 for a loss of 1.
Tackle on the play by number 32, Tony Reed.
So the Comets now 1 of 4 on third down opportunities tonight. They're faced with another one here.
Third down and 11. The ball's on the 39-yard line.
Again, Solon closed out the year with a 7-game winning streak, and that included wins over Twinsburg, which made the playoffs but lost to Howland last night, and Nordonia, which is still alive in Division II. Inside swing to Michael Studer. Runs into Raider territory where he's met by Joe Finnessy at the Harding 44, but a nice, well-designed play gives the Comets a first down off the third down.
Yeah, nice little rocket screen. And again, Studer's their man tonight. He's been the one that's most impressive. But again, let's give credit to that offensive line. They did a nice job there, giving him some time. He did take a deep drop, but Studer's able to catch the ball, get a few blocks. There you see one downfield by big number 76, Brian Piscitello. And an impressive play for Solon.
Pickup of 17 in the pass play. Studer now with 3 grabs in the game for 48 yards. And Solon has the ball at the Raider 44. Shimitz grabbed by Jonte Stroud. Also tackled on the play by Phil McNeil. And Shimitz goes down at the 42 following the gain of 2.
Number 28, Brandon Shimitz, the ball carrier. Tackle on the play by number 13.
Shimitz during the course of the regular season averaged over 5 yards a carry. They said that was one of the differences. Everyone wants to know, how did Solon lose 3 straight to begin the season, then reel off 7 straight wins? A couple of roster changes, and that included getting that young man the ball more.
Yeah, you usually don't trust a sophomore in your backfield for such a good program like Solon, but even tonight he's shown that he could carry the load.
Tegay trying to get loose, shakes loose momentarily from Andre Boomer, but then it's Phil McNeil lowering the boom on Tegay at the 44. It'll be a loss of about 1.5 yards. Best drive of the night, though, for the Comets.
Yeah, they're moving a little bit. Really, the run game, especially up the middle, is not working. This Harding defense really tight up the middle, not allowing much. Even they're running counters or a little bit misdirection plays. They're not getting much movement up front.
8th play of the drive coming up for Solon. The officials have stepped in there. We have an equipment problem right now. It's heading to Phil McNeil's helmet. Again, the Comets, after opening the game, going 3 and out, turning the ball over on downs on its second drive. Solon then punted away on its third drive. This has been their most sustained effort of the night, a series which began at the 29. Solon now has the ball at the Harding 43, and again, it's the 8th play of the drive coming up. But a probable passing down for DJ Matz. But then he hands off to Brandon Shimitz, who is then grabbed by Ben Elser and knocked down at the 44. It's a loss of 1, and the Comets are going to have to punt.
And again, you hate to keep harping on the speed theme, but right there you saw Ben Elser close on the running back quicker than most people could and bring up this punting situation.
So Wasserman on for his 3rd punt of the night. He's averaged 38 yards on his first 2 efforts. Back deep for the Raiders, Mario Manningham and Thaddeus Walker. This will be Manningham from his own 10. Looking for some room, taken out of bounds, short of the 20-yard line. Tackle registered by Solon's Joseph Geitz, and we've got a timeout on the field. We've got over 8 minutes remaining before halftime. It's Warren Harding 28, Solon nothing. You're watching the high school football game of the week on Fox 1762. Well, this will be Warren Harding's first drive of the second quarter. It will begin just shy of the 20-yard line. Alex Ingram out of the shotgun. Give to John Richardson. Spins loose. Grabbed by Boylan and taken down at the 26-yard line. Richardson with a gain of about 6. During the regular season, Richardson had 6 rushing touchdowns. And Warren Harding was concerned, I think, going into that game a week ago against Fitchroff because they had lost Delbert Ferguson the week before at Massillon, but Richardson stepped up, and from reading certain quotes in the newspaper, the players knew that he had that kind of caliber about him, and Richardson went over the 100-yard rushing mark a week ago and really didn't miss a beat.
Yeah, I'm sure that Harding defense has seen a lot of John Richardson on the scout team, and when he came into the varsity game, you start to have some confidence in him.
Ingram, before he can get the ball out of the gun, has to be held up because of whistles. And a flag, which will be our first of the night. And with about 7 minutes left here in the second quarter, it's our first penalty.
7 minutes and 30
Just against Warren Harding.
When you reach this point in the season, you expect your team to be well disciplined, and when you're in the playoffs, you pretty much have to be well disciplined. You can't afford the penalties that are going to cost you, the end of your season, basically.
So the penalty takes the ball back to the 20-yard line.
Ball's on the 20-yard line.
5-yard infraction against the Raiders. Puts him into 2nd and 10. Ingram again from the gun. Ingram quickly throws, pass off the hands of Joe Finnessy and incomplete. There you see the difference between the two quarterbacks. We've seen DJ Matz take his time, doesn't deliver the ball with a lot of zip. Ingram makes the quick decision, and watch how fast he delivers that ball.
Yeah, I think he almost throws the ball too fast at times. That one's a little bit too hard to handle by Joe Finnessy, but definitely you can see the contrast between the two. When a 3-step drop is designed, you're designed to take 3 and boom, get rid of the ball. And Ingram's able to do that. DJ Matz tonight has not.
Well, Warren Harding has taken a timeout. So we have 7:25 left in the first half. It is Warren Harding 28, Solon nothing. As we continue with our playoff coverage from Mollenkopf Stadium. Winner of this game will come back next Saturday, and we'll move into the regional semifinals.
I think our schedule has prepared us for what we're going to face. From the standpoint of we've seen about every offense you can identify and name, and about every defense you can identify and name. So it's just a matter of us executing and outplaying the other guys.
And again, the game we were talking about, the winner would match up against St. Ed's or Strongsville. Warren Harding's already played St. Ed's, beat him in overtime. Solon played Strongsville in the season opener and lost by 10. That was one of the 3 losses absorbed by the Comets to start the campaign. So the Raiders faced a similar schedule, maybe a little more difficult than Solon, but came out unscathed through the regular season. And now as play is set to resume, the Raiders have a 3rd and long from the 20. Ingram with all kinds of time, throws to Mario Manningham. He's got the first down out over the 35, ahead to the 39-yard line. Manningham tackled on the play by Joe Boylan.
We saw Manningham earlier just run a fly pattern straight down the field and catch and go for the touchdown. That time they bring Manningham all the way across the field, clear out that side by sending a guy deep, and once he clears the defender, he's able to catch it and get the first down. So a very versatile receiver, very versatile offense that Harding runs. Really, they can kill you with the run or the pass.
Gain of about 18. That gives Manningham 3 grabs on the night for 115 yards, and he has 2 scores to his credit. Richard Davis looking to rack up more yardage. Grabbed by Studer and yanked to the ground at the 44-yard line. It'll be a gain of 6, close to 7 yards on the effort by Richard Davis.
We talked about this Harding offense really being a double-edged sword. They can kill you with the pass or run, and really I think that's the problem that Solon finds himself in right now. Do they put the extra guys in the box to stop Richard Davis, or do they bring in the extra defensive backs and try to take away the pass. Really, you know, it's a win or lose situation.
So the ball just shy of the Harding 45-yard line. Second down for the Raiders. Give to Davis. To midfield. Trying to break free again, and does as he runs over Studer, and Davis may go again. He does. Touchdown Raiders. Richard Davis with his third rushing touchdown of the night. And this one, equally as impressive as the first two.
You got to figure with him getting his yards and his 3 touchdowns already, it might be time to sit Richard Davis down. But here you see Richard Davis take this run up the middle. That's where it's designed to go, but there you see his athletic ability, able to bounce it outside, break a tackle, and here's the speed that we talked so much about tonight. Able to push it into the end zone. So just really an impressive game for Richard Davis, an impressive game for that offensive line of Harding.
55-yard touchdown run by Richard Davis. Not his longest of the night. He had a 65-yarder to open up the game. Joe Spain on for his 5th extra point attempt of the night. And just like the first score, this was good as well. So Warren Harding increases its lead. With about 6 minutes left here in the second quarter, it's now the Raiders 35, Solon nothing. We'll come back with more playoff football on Fox 1762. Well, Richard Davis tonight, 10 carries, 193 yards, 3 touchdowns. Harding scoring drives tonight. A 65-yard run by Davis, a 30-yard run by Davis, a 55-yard run by Davis, a 20-yard pass from Ingram to Manningham, and a 77-yard pass from Ingram to Manningham. The Raiders they're just doing it at will.
I guess you could call them a big play offense.
I guess. Brandon Shimitz with the kickoff return, and this has been the best play of the night for the Comets. Shimitz finally grabbed on the play by Roger Matlock, and he's brought to the ground at the Raiders' 48-yard line. So you know come Monday when Tom McDaniels gets his team in for film work, and yes, they are going to advance to the second round. So when he looks at film, this is what they're going to talk about. Not that they were up 35-0 early in the second quarter. They've got to work on kick return coverage.
Oh, without a doubt. You know, most teams, their starters double a special teams player, but when you watch Harding, you see them score, and automatically their kickoff team comes right out on the field. It's a new 11, so those guys are definitely going to get an earful tomorrow.
So Solon will begin from the Harding 48-yard line. And DJ Metz will run out of the gun. In trouble now, gives the ball to Tagay. And he is grabbed by Anthony Hoke. And Alexi Tagay brought down at the 47-yard line following the gain of only 1.
I think
and
now
that play's not going to work much.
No. I think this is the situation they're going to find themselves in. You're down 35-0. You're going to have to throw the ball. Harding's secondary is great. They're going to bring everybody they can to stop DJ Metz from throwing the ball, and it could get uglier than this.
Yeah, that inside counter is not going to work for much yardage tonight. So Solon now faced with second down from the Warren 47. Studer runs in motion towards the bottom of your screen. Matt steps up. There's the pressure. Has to run. Andre Boomer has him at the 43-yard line. Matz goes down, able to pick up some yardage on the play.
Number 14.
Lots of pressure. Matt's able to somehow get out of there. You see several Harding defenders around. Matt's able to almost get tripped up, but step out of the pocket and get something positive out of it, really a negative play.
So his run takes the ball close to the Harding 42-yard line. Just over 4 minutes remaining here before halftime. And the Raiders in command, and they have been in command from the start. Third down now for Solon. 2 of 7 on third down opportunities tonight. Matz throws. Pass intended for Ravita, nearly picked off by Manningham. If you keep throwing that, I saw it a couple of weeks ago at Massillon, the Raiders will pick those eventually.
Yeah, Mario Manningham almost toying with them there on the outside, playing back and able to break on the ball just about in enough time to take it all the way. So, yeah, they throw that a couple more times. It's going to be another touchdown for Mario Manningham.
So Kyle Wasserman in to punt it away for Solon. Back deep for the Raiders will be Manningham. Actually, they're going to lift him. John Richardson will go back and team up with Thaddeus Walker on this punt return. Richardson this year averaging about 4 yards a punt return, and this will be Richardson from the 13-yard line. Takes it out to the 23-yard line. Richardson tackled on the play by Joe Boylan. We still have over 4 minutes left here in the second quarter. And the Raiders get the ball back. Harding up 35-0. They put 28 points up on the board in the first quarter alone. This drive will begin for Harding on the 23-yard line. Yeah, we were worried a little bit about the rain coming into the game tonight, Ralph, and what would that do to the track? And, you know, we thought the field was a little soft and hadn't slowed Harding down.
Yeah, sure glad we didn't open with the track weather story.
That's right. Raiders have been able to handle the pressure, being ranked number 1, at least for tonight. John Richardson now the ball carrier, but he is stuffed at the 21. Solon has shown some signs defensively, just not enough.
Yeah, that play looked ugly from the get-go. Rocco Cerrone, I think it was offsides. It wasn't called. He pulled to the right and just didn't look good from the get-go. You're running an opposite of the pull, and just nothing there. But again, you know, you're bound to have those in a given night. They've had so many positive yards that, you know.
Well, McCarahan this season has been one of the top defenders for Solon, second on the team in tackles with 84 stops. He also had 2 interceptions defensively for the Comets this year. Ingram out of the gun here on second down and long. They'll set up the screen to John Richardson. Gets one block on the play, nicely read. Rocco Cerrone threw the block, and Richardson takes the ball out close to the 29-yard line.
What I think starts to happen when you're a big play offense, every guy tries to make that big play. And I think John Richardson, had he caught that screen pass, it just continued down the sideline. I think he picks up the first down. It's a positive play, but Richardson is a playmaker like most of these Harding Raiders are, and catches this ball, looking around, maybe looking to the inside, and tries almost to be a little bit too fancy. And still a good positive play, but maybe if he would have went to the sidelines, would have been better.
Tackled by Chris Noonan at the 28-yard line. Third down for the Raiders. Ingram, short drop in the pocket, now flushed. Directing traffic, will run. Gets out of bounds and around the 32-yard line. Penalty flag will come down for the late hit on the play. And they will flag Steve Valentino for knocking Ingram down out of bounds.
It wasn't a vicious hit. It was a low hit at the leg, so it wasn't like it was an intent to hurt, but definitely a late hit. And like we said earlier, this Harding offense does not need the help.
So it would not have been a first down, but the penalty flag will make it a first down. Let's see, take a look at it again.
Here you see Ingram rolling out of the pocket. I think they were going for the screen again. It wasn't there, so there he's signaling his receiver to get downfield, probably to give himself a little bit more running room, and he heads to the sidelines.
And there's Valentino. That's not a late hit.
No,
it's not a late hit. That's a good job of the truck guys to catch it. Valentino slid into the legs of Alex Ingram. It's really not a late hit, but that's the way it's gone for Solon tonight. They're just not going to catch a break, and the Comets penalized 15 yards for that infraction. Solon's first penalty of the night gives the Raiders a first down. So Harding now with the ball at midfield, and that's the way it's going to go tonight. Still over 2 minutes remaining here in the half. John Richardson slides his way to the 45. Crowd sensed that he was going to break it if he'd have kept his feet.
Yeah, he almost did. And again, they talked about the depth of this Harding offense. Richard Davis now sitting down for a little bit. You bring John Richardson in, and you don't miss a beat. And as I looked at this side of the field, I saw Mario Manningham. Again, one-on-one coverage here on the outside. I think if they want to throw the ball to him right now, they could at any time.
Well, I would think Richard Davis is done for the night with 193 yards rushing. Second down now for the Raiders. They have the ball at the Comets' 47-yard line. Short drop, pass. Joseph caught by Pete Sparks. Sparks to the 30-yard line of Solon. Sparks second on the team in receptions behind Manningham. That was his 21st grab of the year. Sparks back after being injured over the later portion of the season. The Raiders need him, but you can see him hobbling there. And he may have re-aggravated the injury that has hampered him over the last couple weeks.
Well, these Raiders probably don't want to come out of the game. They all want to get to the end zone.
Well, Ingram tonight has hit on his last 3 pass attempts. He's 5 of 7 through the air for 138 yards. From the 30 of Solon, toss to John Richardson, trying to get the corner, but he'll be grabbed on the play by Chris Noonan, who makes the stop back at the 38. And that's going to be a big loss on the play of 8 yards.
Yeah, Harding going to the wide sweep here. You see the missed block at the top of your screen. Noonan able to get in really untouched and disrupt that play.
And the Raiders.
We want to play as many kids as we can. You know, the kids will really determine how many we're going to play. But right now we're playing about 18 different kids on offense. We're playing about 16 different kids on defense. And so when you do that, kids are readier to play a lot if in fact there's an injury that requires that they play a lot. Take some guts, you know, to tell a number 2, you're going to play on game night. You know, and we're not going to wait until that guy's injured for you to go in the game. But we've done it for as long as I can remember, you know, where I've been, and it works. I think our record indicates that.
Well, I would have to agree, because you look at McDaniel's overall record just at Warren Harding alone, 42-6, and he's 6-2 in the postseason now in his 4th year. And McDaniel's philosophy has worked here at Harding.
Yeah, it works. You know, a lot of teams don't have that luxury to play 18, 19 guys on a given side of the ball, but they do, and I think that's one of the reasons we saw Rayshon Shannon in the game earlier, just trying to prepare people for the future.
From the 38 of Solon, 2nd down and long now for Warren Harding. Ingram from the gun. All day to throw. Looking for some help. Ingram able to get away from Greg Nachman, but not able to get much more than the 36-yard line. But give the secondary of Solon some credit that time around.
Yeah, Alex Ingram wanted to throw that ball. He looked at just about everybody 3 or 4 times, and then he decided to make a couple moves and get what he could, but he really wanted to get that ball downfield.
Picks up 2 yards off the scramble. And now it is 3rd down for the Raiders from the Solon 36-yard line. And we are inside of a minute left here in the first quarter. Or in the first half, that is. Ingram fires the Manningham pass too far out in front of the intended receiver and incomplete. And there's the arm strength we talked about of Ingram, and at times maybe a little too strong of a pass.
Yeah, you know, I'd like to see Alex Ingram line up and just gun one, see how many yards he could throw the ball in a given throw. I imagine he could throw it for, you know, a good 70 or so yards at the speed he throws. But you're looking again for number 1, Mario Manningham. You know, he's one of the go-to guys on this Harding offense, and had him on the slant there, just a little bit underthrown.
Well, last week in the regular season finale at Fitch, Ingram was 7 of 12 passing for 74 yards. Earlier this season in the big test against Eds, he was 8 of 16 for 116 yards and had 2 touchdowns. 4th down and long, and the Raiders will go with a draw to John Richardson. Grabbed nicely on the play by Jared Armstrong, who makes a beautiful open field tackle, and the Raiders have to turn the ball over on downs to the Comets offense. So for the first time tonight, the Raiders stopped. They had scored 5 consecutive touchdowns the first time tonight that the Comets have come up and made a stop on the Raiders offense.
So that Solon defense get a little bit of soul, a little bit of pride back, stopping that powerful Harding offense. And even though this game is tending to get out of hand, you know that Solon wants to get in that end zone to just represent themselves well.
Less than 30 seconds remaining here in the first half. Comets just trying to get to the locker room alive. Give to Shimitz. Runs right into Jante Stroud and Ben Elser. Goes down at the 38-yard line, a pickup of roughly 2.5 yards.
Brandon Shimitz, the ball carrier. Tackle on the play number 13, Jante Stroud.
And that's going to be the final play of the first half. So these two teams will head to the locker room with a much different feel on the game than they had when they walked out of it to begin the contest. Through 2 from Mullencoff Stadium. It's the Warren Harding Raiders 35, the Solon Comets nothing. We'll come back with our halftime festivities as you continue to watch high school football playoff coverage on Fox 17, 62. Region 1 with the Raiders being the 2 seed and Solon earning the 7th seed in this region. The other matchups in D1 Region 1 tonight had Mentor playing host to Lakewood and Ignatius playing Glenville at Bedford Stadium. So Flaminio's second kickoff of the night gets the third quarter underway. This will be Tagay at the 6. hit at the 20-yard line and tackled. Initially hit by Tony Masucci, and Solon's offense will get it 1st and 10 to begin the 3rd quarter from the 20-yard line.
Well, I guess we'll see right off the bat if Solon's going to go to the air and try to make a dent in this 35-0 score, or if they'll be content to go with their bread and butter and mix it up a little bit.
Comets had just 76 yards in offense in the first half, 6 rushing yards on 16 carries as a whole for the Comets. Yeah, DJ Match remains the quarterback, and he gives to Shimitz. Runs it out to the 23-yard line, hit by Deshaun Robinson and Ben Elser. Gain of 3 by Shimitz. So far, Solon not changing up its offense any.
Yeah, I think they're just going to, some teams will get in this position and try to do too much. They try to do things they're not capable of doing. We'll see if that's the case with Solon or not, but some teams will just come out and run what they know they could do well and see what they could get.
So from the 23-yard line, 2nd down now for the Comets, again from the I formation. Fake to Shimitz. Matt's on the roll, being chased by Marquet Allen. Match will run over the 30, stay in bounds long enough to take the ball out to the 40. Up now, they're going to mark him back out of bounds at the 33-yard line. Still a gain of 10 yards and a 1st down for the Comets.
Yeah, here you see the roll up by DJ Matz, and again, not able to set up and look downfield, so he keeps on running. Ends up being almost like a quarterback sweep and able to get enough for the 1st down until he gets out of bounds right about there. So, again, starting off this half with some positive plays, always a good sign.
So from the 34-yard line is where they're going to spot him out. Matz with the run, good for a 1st down. Comets with their 3rd rushing 1st down of the night. Back to the ground, it's Alexi Tagay out to the 42-yard line. So Solon coming out and very aggressive off the ball. And this is not against the Raiders' backup defense. This is against their number 1s.
Right, that first team is in there. Well, a lot of times what coaches like to do is at least keep their first team in there for one more series to get them some work and then start to slowly bring the backups in. But I tell you what, Coach McDaniel won't be happy if this first team starts giving up a long drive to Solon.
From the 42-yard line, 2nd and short now for the Comets. They've been impressive on the early stages of this drive. Give again, Shimitz. Dances his way out to the 45 and then drives out to the 48-yard line. That might be an impressive run, maybe his best of the night. Might not be the longest run by Brandon Shimitz, but he showed some nice strength there.
Yeah, and the offensive line of Solon starting to get a little push up front, allowing Shimitz to get a little bit of yardage there. So it'd be interesting to see now if that Harding defense starts to become aggressive again. Right now they look a little bit more passive, a little bit back on their heels maybe than they were earlier in that first half. So it'll be interesting to see if this drive starts to motivate them a little bit.
And that 6-yard run by Shimitz matches his longest run of the night. In fact, his first carry of the game went for 6 yards. Out of the gun, give to Tagay. And he'll do his best to take the ball out to the 49-yard line. That's right back to around the line of scrimmage. So Ralph trailing 35-0. Solon has come out and opened up the second half by running the ball 5 straight times.
Yeah, like I said earlier, you can't expect them to do things they're not capable of doing, and they come out running, and really that offensive line is pushing hard, and it's too bad for them that this couldn't have been the first quarter, their first drive, rather than what happened there in the first quarter.
Give to Shimitz, runs the ball to midfield and into Raider territory, hit by Anthony Hoke and knocked down right around the 47-yard line of the Raiders. Gain of about 5. They'll spot him down at the 46, actually, so give him a gain of 5 on the play, and now it's 3rd down for the Comets. 6 straight runs on the drive now.
Yeah, and I'm sure the Solon offense got an earful at halftime. Down 35-0. I'm sure the coach told them, you're embarrassing yourself out there. You got to go out and take some pride in what you do, how you've worked hard all year during the summer to go show people what you're capable of doing. And so far, in this 3rd quarter, they're doing that.
Matz down the middle, throws over the head of Michael Studer. But you have a penalty flag down. You'll have pass interference against the Raiders' Thaddeus Walker.
Yeah, Walker was able to bat that ball down with his right hand, but I believe that left hand, or it might have been vice versa, was on the back of Studer, so it'll be interesting. There's a little play fake, and it actually worked because they've been running the ball with some success, so the play fake worked a little bit, and that was a close one, but
that's a close call.
Obviously, Thaddeus Walker's hand must have been on that receiver.
And the 15-yard penalty. The 2nd of the night against the Raiders. They now have 20 yards in infractions. They'll mark it all the way down to the Warren 31-yard line. And it'll be a 1st and 10 for the Comets. Solon now with 7 first downs in the game. Toss sweep to Brandon Shimitz, hit by Nate McLeod. Also tackled on the play by Adrian Barbutis. And Shimitz goes down at the 30 after a pickup of 1.
And there you saw Nate McLeod starting to get a little bit of that aggressiveness back. Came up from his outside linebacker position and able to fill the hole rather quickly. And I think really that's what's lacking here in the second half. You know, it's been hard to criticize Harding during this game because nearly everything they've done is turned to gold. But clearly in this third quarter, they're showing a little bit of weakness. And maybe it's a lack of focus being up 35-0.
Less than 9 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Opening drive of the second half for Solon. They started on the 20, now have the ball on the Raiders' 30. Alexi Tegay runs the ball right back to the line of scrimmage, and the Raiders now starting to step it up a little bit. Barbutis, McLeod, Robinson, Hoke all around the football for Harding.
Yeah, Alexi Tegay, one of their key running backs in this attack. All season, he's one of those hard running backs that gains the tough yards, and really against this Harding defense, those types of backs are not very successful.
But you look at Tegay and Shimitz, 2 sophomores. They combined this season for 1,200 and almost 1,300 yards rushing and 17 touchdowns. That's 2 sophomores.
Yeah, this is a promising Solon team. You know, they're going to lose DJ Matz, but they have some linemen coming back. Obviously, their 2 running backs, fullback coming back. So
Matz throws complete, finds David Ravita. Ravita then quickly tackled on the play by Nate McLeod. And the reception by Ravita takes the ball to the Harding 26-yard line. Be a gain of 4, and it'll bring up a 4th down now for Solon. That's their first pass on this drive that was allowed. Remember, another pass was negated because of a pass interference call. But 8 runs and 1 pass, and you're trailing by 35 points. And Solon now has no other option but to go for it on 4th down.
And that's the problem. You know, they put together a nice drive, yet they're still with 4th and long.
From the Warren 26. We've just clicked under 7 minutes left in the third quarter. They'll set up the screen, but the pass is deflected and nearly intercepted by the Raiders' Preston Kelson. But still, Harding's Blood D has turned Solon away on downs.
Yeah, I think they're going to that well a little bit too often. They've run that screen a couple times tonight. A couple times it's been successful, and I think Harding knew that was coming. And there you see the nice deflection, and then Kelson with the near interception. So give credit to that Harding defensive staff for informing them that screen was probably coming, and it was, and now Harding's offense going to take over.
So the best drive of the night for the Comets comes up dry at the Raider 26. They hand the ball back over to Warren Harding. And the Raiders return Rayshawn Shannon in at quarterback. He saw some time in the second quarter. Give to John Richardson. He's dropped right at the line of scrimmage.
Number 6.
Tackle for Solon by Chris Noonan. And again, Rayshawn Shannon comes back in. He came in during the first half and spelled Alex Ingram for just a smidgen. And now I'm sure we'll see a lot more of the guys who are second and third teamers that we heard Coach McDaniels talk about in the first half. A little bit more playing time for those guys.
Yeah, the last time we saw Mr. Shannon, he came out of the ball game. I don't think he's going to be coming out of this one unless the third-string quarterback comes in. And again, you know, this is a playoff game, and you're able to get your second-string quarterback some valuable experience in a playoff game.
Yeah, Jimmy Butts is the offset fullback. He'll block for Richardson, who finds the lane. Richardson's gone. It's a foot race, and Richardson's going to win it every time with Michael Studer. Touchdown Raiders. John Richardson, 74-yard touchdown run. Richardson's first score of the night. It's his 7th rushing touchdown of the year and his 4th in the last 2 games.
So there you saw a backup quarterback, and really at the beginning of the season, probably your third-string running back, you know, doing some great things out there. And like you said, once he hits that open field, like most of these Harding backs, you're not going to catch him, even if you have great speed like number 5 for Solon Studer does.
Yeah, the extra point to be attempted by Joe Spain. And again, the Raiders' big play attack. Raiders travel 74 yards in 2 plays, all 74 yards on 1 carry by John Richardson, who now has 88 yards rushing on the night. John Flaminio's kickoff will be grabbed by Alexi Tegay, and then he dropped it at the 10 and picks it back up. Ran by Rayshawn Shannon, runs the ball out to the 21-yard line, and that's where Alexi Tegay is finally stopped. Solon will get the football, but the Raiders tonight offensively now have 5 touchdowns of 55 yards or more in length. You have a 65-yard run, a 77-yard pass, a 55-yard run, and a 74-yard run.
Pretty explosive offense. You know, I'm sure we mentioned this earlier. Solon had no idea what was in front of them until they got here to Mollenkopf Stadium tonight, and now they certainly know.
So with just over 5 minutes remaining here in the third quarter, the Comets get the ball first and 10 from its own 21. Toss sweep to Brandon Shimitz. Forced inside, Andre Boomer and Ben Elser there waiting on Shimitz at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play.
And really, those last two drives, you can see the big contrast between this team. We were so positive there on Solon's last drive. They drove it down, were helped by a penalty. They got it down into Harding territory. It was a slow, methodical drive, then it stalled out. Harding comes out a couple plays, boom, touchdown. You know, and that's what really separates these two teams.
So again, the ball returns to the 21. Second and long for Solon. Matz, short drop, throws, has Studer, but he cannot make the grab. He had gotten behind Mario Manningham, but the pass just a little too far over the shoulder of Michael Studer, and he can't make the grab.
Again, Studer's his favorite target. We haven't said someone got behind Mario Manningham very often tonight. And this time they do. Got a little pressure, and DJ Matz just throws it a little bit too far. That had the capability of being a huge play.
And now it is third and long for the Comets from the 21-yard line. There you see Studer running out of your screen. He'll be on the top side of the formation. And Solon remains in that I formation. Matz with a give to Shimitz. Knocked down at the 22-yard line, and I would imagine that's a give-up play.
Yeah, I think at this point, you know, you see a lot of the Solon players, heads hanging low. Everything they've tried tonight hasn't worked, you know, and it gets to a point where you just become so frustrated that, you know, even though you're playing, you're almost thrown in the towel.
So the Raiders will send back John Richardson and Thaddeus Walker, awaiting the punt of Kyle Wasserman. Penalty flag down on the return. Walker giving ground to try and gain ground. Gets the corner finally. Don't forget there is a penalty flag down. Walker's still on the run. He's going to go. If the play stands, it's another touchdown for Warren Harding. But keep in mind there is a flag down.
Coach McDaniels is going to be very upset because this one's going to come back. That Harding defense took a long time to get off the field. And that punt return team was quickly on the field, but some of those Harding starters on defense kind of walked off the field, and they had too many men on the field. I believe it's going to be the call.
So there's the officiating crew discussing the penalty.
Now, there may have been a second flag during the return, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think there is. There's one at the 8-yard line, and then there's one across the field at the 20. Now, there are two flags down. Now, the question is two separate penalties or the same penalty flag twice.
Even though they've been impressive tonight, the special teams have had some chinks in this Harding armor.
Yeah, there you go. Too many men on the field. The call against Warren Harding for illegal participation against the Raiders for not wearing proper equipment, which means somebody didn't have a mouthpiece in, is the basis of that penalty. So the Comets keep the ball, and there's the pass, which was nearly intercepted by Nate McLeod. Matz was lucky not to have that one picked off after he intended to pass for Lexi Tagay.
Well, you don't hear that one called very often. A lot of times the refs will just say, hey, put that mouthpiece in or buckle that chin strap, but not that time. And give Solon another chance, a little roll out here, and tries to get it out there to Tagay, but incomplete. And really, DJ Matz took a huge shot from Anthony Hoke on that play.
Well, Solon tonight with 2 first downs because of penalties against Warren Harding. So there are some things that the Raiders will have to work on despite being up by 42 points. Second down for the Comets for the 35. Brandon Shimitz, the ball carrier. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Stuffed on the play initially by Adrian Barbutis. It'll result in a loss of 1 for the tailback of Solon.
Yeah, that play hasn't worked all night. And it's, you know, they have a good back. You know, they have a good wide receiver. And I know this Harding defense has a lot of speed, but you wonder why they don't get him a little bit wider. You know, let that fullback lead him up to the outside, because that middle of that Harding defense is pretty stingy.
Less than 4 minutes remaining here in the third quarter of play. Warren Harding leading 42-0. Raiders jumped out to a 28-0 advantage after 1. Led 35-0 at the break. DJ Matz, the throw in the flat, complete to David Ravita. Ravita's out to the 47-yard line. First down yardage for the Comets. to gain on the play of a dozen yards.
Tackle on the play for number 10, Joe Finnessy.
Well, you said it earlier. I mean, you look at the Comets, methodical offensively, just kind of plodding along, no points to show for it. The Raiders have had 2 offensive plays so far here in the second half, and they've already got a touchdown on the board.
Yeah, you know, we talked earlier that their sizes are the same. You know, they look physically the same as Harding, but really the athletes are what makes the difference.
I mean, Solon's had 17 offensive plays in the third quarter to 2 for Warren Harding, yet the Raiders increased the lead with a touchdown.
Number 28,
And Brandon Shimitz again stuffed between the tackles. Still over 3 minutes remaining in the third period. Ball sitting on the Solon 48-yard line. And the Comets faced with a second down and long.
Second down at 9. The ball's on the 48.
Now less than 3 minutes remaining here in the third quarter. Boy, you get the feeling that the Comets just want to keep that clock chugging along. Deshaun Robinson threatened to come off the corner. He's picked up. Match throws for Studer, well covered by Thaddeus Walker, and the pass is incomplete. Now it's a possession down for the Comets.
On plays like that, really when the Solon's able to get a wide receiver in the clear, by the time that ball lands, you know, Harding's able to recover and get there like Thaddeus Walker does right there.
Well, the winner of this game more than likely will face Lakewood St. Edwards next Saturday, so if you want to project, and I think it's safe to do so, Warren Harding up 42-0 in the third quarter. Heading into the fourth quarter, Eds leading Strongsville 35-7, so it's a rematch of last year's playoff game, which was a thriller. In fact, Harding and Eds met earlier in the year with the Raiders winning in overtime. Match will throw down the middle, finds his man. Pass caught at the 30-yard line. Michael Studer, then quickly tackled by Joe Finnessy. And we have about 2.5 minutes remaining here in the third quarter, and the Comets with a gain of 18 yards.
And again, I think you could see at times tonight when Solon makes these big plays and you see the athletes that they do have, you can see why they're a successful program. You can see why they had a winning record this year, because they do have nice talent. It's just, you know, not comparable to that of the Raiders.
So first down for Solon. 10th play of the drive coming up. Their first drive of the second half went 10 plays but resulted in no points. Brandon Shimitz, best run of the night, carries the ball inside the Raider 20, close to the 19-yard line. So a gain on the play of 11 yards. That gives Shimitz 42 yards rushing now on 17 carries tonight. Less than 2 minutes remaining now in the third quarter.
First down and 10.
Now's the point in the game where, you know, we talked about the second or third teamers being in there, not wanting to give up the shutout. You know, there's still a lot of first-team Raiders out there, and, you know, that's in the back of their mind. They want this victory to be as impressive as possible, and, you know, keeping them out of the end zone would be very impressive.
Shimitz gets the corner, runs it down to the 12-yard line. Gain of about 7 yards that time. Solon threatening to score its first touchdown of the night.
Here you see the little handoff to Shimitz. He just goes around the end. Really the first time he's able to get some running room outside and, you know, get into that Harding secondary.
Ball sitting on the 12-yard line of Warren Harding. So the Comets in the red zone. Still over a minute remaining in the third quarter. Give to Shimitz. First down yardage. Lunges down to the 5-yard line. So Solon threatening with a minute to go in the third quarter. The Comets with a first and goal now from the 5. Power out of the left. Give to Shimitz. Looking for the goal line. Didn't find it yet. He stopped shy. It'll bring up second and goal now from the 1, and the Comets trying to gain a little respectability here.
Yeah, and that's basically what they're in. You got to believe that they don't feel they can win this game or come back. It's all about respectability, looking good. And, you know, so far the last 2 drives have been pretty impressive for Solon, and now really they're right on the doorstep trying to pound it in.
Fourteenth play of the drive coming up for the Comets. They've run 24 plays offensively to just 2 for Harding, and before Shimitz can take the handoff, the quarter has come to a close. So I think the Solon Comets are going to...
You know, they're able to get the job done in the long run.
Second down and goal to go for Solon from the Warren 1-yard line. Give to Shimitz. Won't get there. Held up at the 1 by Preston Kelson, and it's 3rd and goal to go. And yes, the Raiders want the shutout. Look at all the starters who are still in the game.
Tackle on the play, number 63, Matt.
So now it is 3rd and goal from the 1.
You know, and as I look on that Solon sideline, one of the things that, you know, as a former coach makes me happy, their coaches are staying positive. They're clapping. They're patting their guys on the back, you know, because, you know, this team is like a family at this point in the season, and you really have to stay positive. And, you know, this game is out of hand for sure. But, you know, these kids worked hard all year, and you don't want to get down on them too hard.
So from the 1, 3rd and goal. Shimitz again leaps to the goal line. This time he looked as if he got in. They still haven't given him the touchdown. Now they do. Touchdown Solon. So the Comets finally get on the board. Brandon Shimitz with his 16th touchdown of the season. And the goose egg is gone for Solon.
Yeah, it looks like it's a pretty clear call right there. It looks like that lunge puts him over, but
fullback. And Dan Herron at tailback, and this will be Herron. His first carry of the night. Pulled to the ground by Studer at the 41. And for Herron,
18,
just a freshman, his first carry goes for 6 yards.
yeah, with Harding, you know, we talked about teams having a lot of depth, and, you know, they're definitely one of those teams in the area that, you know, are afforded that luxury. They just keep reloading and getting these young kids ready, and, you know, and as they graduate, great seniors like Delbert Ferguson and Richard Davis, they just keep plugging other guys in there.
So Davis, who hasn't been seen here in the second half, had 192 yards rushing in the first 2 quarters and 3 touchdowns. John Richardson, his night's work is over with 88 yards rushing and a touchdown. Alex Ingram has finished his night's work with 2 touchdown passes to Mario Manningham. So again, out of the eye, it's now 2nd down for the Raiders from the 41. Still 10 minutes remaining in the game. Raiders in cruise control at this stage. Herron hit at the 41. Initial hit by Matt Ross, the middle linebacker. And for a kid who came in with over 100 stops in the season, we really haven't talked much about number 50, Matt Ross of Solon.
Yeah, that might have been the 2nd time we heard his name called, and, you know, give credit then to that Harding offensive line who were able to get out on those linebackers and cause them not to make the tackle. So he's been pretty silent tonight.
So it is 3rd down for Warren Harding. This will be the Raiders' first possession down of the second half, and it comes with less than 10 minutes remaining in the game. From the 41. Well, Shannon kind of checking off now. Not bad poise for the Jew. That was their 4th tonight for 40 yards overall. Give to Herron, looking for running room off the left side. Stopped at the 39-yard line. For Solon in on the tackle, Kyle McCarahan. Also Steve Valentino. And now the punt unit will come in. Isaac Chaney set to punt it away. This will be his first attempt of the night. Remember, they tried to punt earlier in the first half, but they went with a fake instead. And John Richardson picked up a 1st down. So Chaney to punt.
Number 4, Isaac Chaney.
Bobbles the snap, still gets it away. And the ball will roll inside the 20, close to the 19-yard line, and that's where the Comets will get the ball. Another friendly bounce for Isaac Chaney.
Yeah, he fumbled the snap.
Have the ball on the Solon 47. Dan Herron remains the deep back in that I formation, and it's Herron, the freshman, running the ball down to the 43-yard line of the Comets. Dan Herron, 5'10", 170 pounds. A long line of Herons who have been very successful in Warren athletics.
That's one of the things you notice when you look at this Harding roster. There's a lot of familiar last names, and, you know, the people from Warren, you know, are proud of the tradition that they have here and proud to see their sons and grandsons come up in the same type of tradition.
One of the guys that you saw there that Herron ran into, number 88, Joe Suprek. His brother Pete played here at Warren Harding, went on to play at Youngstown State as a tight end. Dan Herron now will break it loose. Finally grabbed on the play by Brad Henderson. And Herron has the ball down to the Comets' 34-yard line for a 1st down.
You know, we comment that we want the second, you know, the 3rd team to run out the clock and get this game over with. But you got to understand those young kids in the game want to make their mark, you know, especially for these freshmen and sophomores, this is big time playing in the playoffs, and they want their name in the newspaper.
Yeah, the Raiders have scored in each of the first 3 quarters. Thinking they'd like to get one more here to wrap up the night. Toss to Heron. Cuts inside the block of Jimmy Butts. Heron runs the ball down to the 29-yard line. So they're working Heron pretty good here.
Yeah, Heron looks like a good back. He has some speed. He also, when he ran up the middle, showed a little power. And you got to remember, that's a freshman running up against a lot of seniors and juniors out there. So give him a couple years in the weight room, and I'm sure we'll be calling his name on Friday night.
Well, Heron's got himself 26 yards rushing on 5 carries. His most recent effort covered 5 yards and gives the Raiders the ball on the Solon 29. Heron again runs into his own man, but able to bounce it outside. Now down to the 23-yard line. Heron tackled on the play by Joseph Geitz.
Here you see it looks almost like a busted play. He runs into the guard, Lewis Barksdale, and then it's all just really athleticism, able to just make something out of nothing. And that's a sign of a great back when you can run into your offensive lineman and look around, find a hole, and still get something positive.
Well, right over the huddle, you see what happened a year ago for Warren Harding. AP state champions, Division I runner-up. They lost to Cincinnati Elder in the state championship. The Raiders would like to put up an AP state championship and a Division I state championship in 2003, and they're now well on their way as they are going to pick up the victory here in week number 1 of the postseason. And we'll have a rematch, more than likely, with Lakewood St. Edwards next Saturday.
As we were walking up to the press booth tonight, I heard a couple of the Solon fans saying, this Harding team's good, and they don't deserve to be number 3 in the nation. They can't be that good. And I think they got a dose early, and they know now that this is a quality football team.
Yeah, when you get scored on every which way but loose, and you give up 28 first quarter points, this is why Harding's ranked number 3 in the nation. From the 20-yard line, second down for Warren Harding. Shannon to throw. Tried to fire the pass to Corey Stringer. Corey spelled with a C, I might add, and not a K. Pass was incomplete, however.
It brings up a good point. If Harding's the number 3 team in the nation, how good are 1 and 2? I mean, that's a statement to how good high school football is in, not only this area, but across the country. It's taking it to a new level, some of these teams.
And again, coaches will tell you, how do you rank teams nationally?
Right.
Because you don't play the similar styles of football, and competition varies, but it's still nice for your program to be recognized nationwide. Give to Heron. He'll be stood up right at the 20-yard line. That'll bring up 4th down for Warren Harding, but they're more interested in keeping the clock running, which right now has reached 3.5 minutes here in the game. Now keep in mind, the 20, the Raiders will go for it on 4th down, and why not? Nothing else to lose. You're up 35. You just want the clock to keep running, and it's now inside of 3 minutes left in the game. Shannon to throw. He'll run the lob. He's trying to go deep to Brandon Vaughn, and he makes the catch. Touchdown, Raiders. So Harding indeed comes up with 1 touchdown in each quarter tonight. Nice grab by Brandon Vaughn, the 5'10", 173-pound senior. A nice way for the senior to wrap up the first-round playoff game.
Yeah, nice way for the senior to wrap it up, but I got to imagine that's a little knife in the side of that Solon coaching staff. I up this much, even though it's a playoff game.
First down for the Comets, but they can't get off another play, and time has expired. It is a final from Mollenkopf Stadium. Warren Harding runs its record to 11-0. Eliminating Solon from the playoffs. The Comet season comes to a close at 7-4. The final tonight, the Warren Harding Raiders 49, the Solon Comets 7. We'll come back with our postgame show here on Fox 1762. There's a look at the Raiders heading into the locker room. Victorious tonight, Warren Harding with a 49-7 win over Solon. And again, each week, Ralph and I pick one player who made the biggest impact and award him with our Key Bank Player of the Game award. Tonight, there were several individuals, but it was the guy who started the game off on the right foot for Warren Harding, who earns the honor tonight. We have selected Richard Davis of Warren Harding as our Key Bank Player of the Game. We earlier selected Richard Davis in the win against Ursuline. Tonight he deserves it again. Some incredible numbers, all done in the first half for Richard Davis. He ran the ball 11 times for 192 yards, had himself 3 touchdowns, opened the game with a 65-yard touchdown run. He also had runs of 30 yards and 55 yards for scores. Didn't play the whole second half, but he set the tone for the game, and the Raiders followed suit with what Richard Davis did.
Yeah, he was impressive, and like you said, we could have picked any number of Harding Raider out there tonight to be this player of the game, but he was the most impressive, I think.
Well, the Raiders finished with 487.
Game of the week as Warren Harding faces Lakewood St. Ed's in the playoffs for the 3rd straight year. In 2001, Maurice Claret led the Raiders to a 42-26 win. Last season, Joe Spain's field goal with just 5 seconds left gave Harding an 18-16 win. Warren will go for the sweep next on Fox 1762.
Forget about
I think on the first play from scrimmage, they went all the way for a touchdown. So whether it's superstition or just having confidence in your offense, Warren Harding wanted the ball tonight.
So the Raiders always dangerous when they take the opening kickoff, and back deep for Harding tonight. Number 1, Mario Manningham. Number 8, Thaddeus Walker. Manningham this season averaging 22 yards per kickoff return. Walker averaging about 18 yards per return. Joe Kleinsmith puts the ball in play, and we are underway. Thaddeus Walker from the 9-yard line. Walker tackled at the 24-yard line, hit by the Eagles' Patrick Highland. So the Raiders offense will get the football to begin tonight's game. Here's a look at the starting offensive line for Warren Harding. Jeff Michalakis will start at center tonight. The tackles Rocco Cerrone and Dante Campbell. The guards Lonnie McDonald and Mark K. Allen. The tight end is Anthony Hoke. And this offense centered around the play of quarterback Alex Ingram. His top back will be Richard Davis with Deshaun Robinson in at fullback to open things up for Warren Harding offensively. The wideouts tonight will be Joe Finnessy, Mario Manningham, and Pete Sparks. And Manningham the most dangerous of that trio, which will line up at the top of your screen to begin the game. Ingram's first pass will go to Manningham. Watch him work his magic out to the 30-yard line. Edge gang tackles him there for Manningham. It's his 27th catch of the season, and this is the defense in which Warren Harding will be facing throughout the course of the night. St. Ed's will start defensively with the ends of Ryan Rappas and Ryan Mirando. The tackles Nate Smith and Ryan Atkins. The outside linebackers Jim Harrison and Bob Norman. Inside Ryan Bailey. The 2 cornerbacks defensively for the Eagles, Neil Jareb and Anthony Gardner, who will double as the starting quarterback. Joe Kleinsmith, who does just about everything for St. Ed's, is the safety, and Haruki Nakamura is the free safety for that St. Ed's defense. Gain of about 5 on first down for Harding. So from the 30, it's a give to Richard Davis. He'll go down at the 31-yard line. Davis a week ago had an outstanding first half in the win against Solon. He carried the ball 10 times for 192 yards and had 3 touchdowns and opened the game with a 65-yard scamper for one of those 3 scores.
Yeah, bro, like what Harding did early on. They went 1 pass, 1 run, so not showing too much about what they're going to do, but obviously this is a very diverse type of offense. They could do either or pretty well.
Raiders averaging about 206 yards a game on the ground, about 129 through the air. 3rd down from the 31. Ingram in the gun for Warren Harding. Off the fake to Davis. Ingram going to keep it himself and has the first down as he carries the ball out to the 38-yard line. He is a double threat. Alex Ingram with a gain of 7. Coming into the game, he had been averaging about 4 yards a carry. That's his 72nd rush of the season. He's now gone over 300 yards rushing this year for Harding.
Yeah, I really like the play call there. Alex Ingram didn't have to do much running last week. This time gives a nice play fake to Richard Davis. Davis takes the linebackers with him, and he's able to pick up the first down.
So the Raiders with their initial first down of the night against the Eds defense. Toss sweep Richard Davis. Follows Robinson around the corner. Grabbed by Kleinsmith and yanked to the ground at the 40-yard line. So a gain of 2. Davis for the season, coming into tonight's game, had 914 yards rushing, has verbally committed to play his college football for the University of Toledo. There's a look at Alex Ingram, who transferred in this season. Ingram this year with an outstanding touchdown to interception ratio. We talked about it a week ago in the victory against Solon. Ingram this season, 18 touchdown passes. He has been picked just once. From the 40 on 2nd and long, give to Richard Davis. He'll be dropped in the backfield, tackled by the Eagles' Neil Jerem, the 5'11", 200-pound senior. Davis will be stopped after a loss of 1.
Give credit to that St. Ed's defense. So far, they're putting a little pressure on that run game, able to shoot the gaps and disturb what John Richardson and Richard Davis want to do back there. And when they ran wide, they were also able to contain it there. So nice job so far for the St. Ed's defensive line.
Less than 9 minutes remaining in the first quarter. This is the opening drive of the night. Warren Harding's already converted on a 3rd down opportunity. They're faced with one here from their own 39. Alex Ingram out of the gun. Manningham in motion. And penalty flags for the first time tonight. The Raiders are averaging roughly 6 penalties a game this season. Our first flag of the night will be a dead ball foul for delay of the game against the Raiders. That'll be a 5-yard infraction, taking the ball back to the 34. Here's a look at our officiating crew for the night. Dennis Burtko, who you just saw there, will be our referee. The umpire, Dave McRoberts. The linesman, Brad Huntley. Kevin Pouchet will be the line judge, and the back judge tonight will be Dave Rogers. So 3rd and 14 for the Raiders now from the 34-yard line. Ingram off the straight run, and he's got a lane, and he fumbled the football. Now the Raiders signify that they have recovered the loose ball. It would be short of the 1st down, even if they have possession.
It looked like Marquis Allen got in there late.
And actually, I think coming out of it's Dante Campbell with the ball. And there's Marquis Allen, 58, coming out late, but it was number 75, Dante Campbell, with the recovery. Watch it again.
A pretty surprising play call. Alex Grindham again on the straight run. Has a good head of steam on him, and he's met right there by Haruki Nakamura, who hits the ball. And there you see.
Yeah, it looked like Marquis Allen had it initially. Isaac Chaney to punt. This season averaging 34.5 yards a boot. Nakamura will let this one roll, and it'll take a favorable Raider bounce and continue to roll inside the St. Ed's 5-yard line. And finally, Anthony Hoke will down the ball on the Eagles' 3. And that's where Lakewood St. Ed's will start offensively for the first time tonight. Boy, for the Harding defense, to have St. Ed's in a hole such as this, Ralph, really plays into their favor.
And really, St. Ed's, they nearly blocked the punt, played good defense, and now end up getting the ball down there at the 3 or 4 yard line. Definitely a big turn of events there.
Now St. Ed's a week ago opened up the playoffs with a 45-13 thrashing of Strongsville. And there's a look at one of the captains for St. Ed's, Haruki Nakamura. He does just about everything offensively for St. Ed's. Now they have had a change at quarterback. When these two teams first met, it was Kyle Skosen at quarterback. Now it's Anthony Gardner. And out of the end zone, he hands it off to Ryan Adkins. And Adkins runs it out to the 10-yard line for a gain of 7. Here's a look at the Eds starters offensively. On that offensive line, they'll open up with the tackles consisting of Troy Gannon and Alex Boone, and Boone is a good one at 6'8", 310 pounds. The guards, John Coyne, who is 6'3", 230, and Nick Lembach with Ed Wisniewski in the middle at center. Anthony Gardner gets the go at quarterback. Michael Greer and Ryan Atkins are the setbacks. Scott Madden had a long touchdown reception of the win a week ago, and Haruki Nakamura leads the Eagles in receptions this year. Atkins, the ball carrier. He takes the ball up to the 17-yard line, and he has a first down. Atkins coming into the game had carried the ball 36 times this year for 150 yards. There really isn't one player for that St. Ed's offense, Raj, which is a dominating ball carrier. They kind of spread the wealth.
Yeah, they do have some depth. They have a lot of people that contribute, and you know, when you reach this point in the season, that's a good thing because you have a lot of experienced players that are willing to take the load and carry the load.
6 minutes and 45 seconds to play in the opening quarter. Warren Harding had to punt on its initial possession of the game. Eds began at the 3, now they're out to the 17. Atkins again, hit by Finnessy. Initially hit on the play by Phil McNeil. And Atkins goes down at the 21-yard line. Here's a look at the Raiders' starting defensive front. Anthony Hoke leads the team with 7.5 sacks this season. He's the left end. The right end, Andre Boomer. The tackle's Phil McNeil, who earlier this week committed to play his college ball at Kent State. and Matt Mann on the right side. The linebackers, Deshaun Robinson, Ben Elser, and Nate McLeod. The corners, Thaddeus Walker and Preston Kelson. Joe Finnessy and Roger Matlock are the safeties for the Raiders Blood D. So it is second down for Eds from the 21. Gardner on the keeper, much like we saw Alex Ingram pull off for Warren Harding. And Gardner takes the ball out to the 31-yard line. And Eds likes to run that play, Ralph, because before Kyle Skozen was benched, he led this team in rushing. Last week, and Gardner's only started 2 games, he carried the ball 8 times and had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, and they like to run it because the success they have up front, if you look at that replay, they had 3 offensive linemen, leading that quarterback into the hole. And, when you're a quarterback and you're running the ball, when you don't get touched for the first 5 or 6 yards, that's a play that you're going to come back to.
Well, Ed's averaging 168 yards a game on the ground this season. And they've moved the ball from the 3 out to the 31, staying on the ground. And here they go again. Ryan Bailey, the ball carrier, and he fumbles the football. And the Raiders feel they've recovered this one. They snatched one earlier offensively, and Eds has recovered it. So each team has fumbled it once, only to recover its own mistake. So Ryan Bailey comes in. That was his 21st carry of the year, and it was almost very dangerous, because there it comes out. You see it. Almost bouncing around.
And that's one of the things that Harding is going to need to do tonight is put some hits on those running backs so they don't hit that hole as quickly. Once you take a couple shots like that, you tend to not go as quickly and looking for the hit more than the yards.
So a gain of 4 after the fumble out to the 35-yard line. The Eagles now with the second down. Give to Ryan Atkins. He finds a crevice, bowls over the Raiders' Roger Matlock. And Ryan Atkins takes the ball out to the 45. That's a gain of 10 and a first down for St. Ed's.
There you see the hard runner right there, Ryan Atkins, who bowls over Matlock, like you said. The senior tailback is 225 at 5'11". He carries the load when he hits the hole.
So Ed's has now put together a very profitable drive here. And they've used 3 different ball carries. Atkins getting the brunt of the work, 4 carries, 28 yards on this series. Nakamura goes in motion. Before Gardner can take the snap out of the gun, the officials have stepped in. Dead ball foul, illegal procedure is the call against Lakewood St. Edwards. So that'll move the Eagles back to the 40 and put him at first and long.
Rob, so far you've really got to be impressed by St. Ed's. They come out, had started in poor field position, and able to work their way out of it and really put a nice drive together.
Well, Warren Harding again was the top-ranked team according to the AP when the regular season ended. St. Ed's was ranked 12th. You've got 2 of the top 15 teams here in the state going head-to-head. Anthony Gardner off the play action. Wants to throw back across the grain. Has Paxton Rose, but he can't hook up with him. Coverage by Preston Kelson.
Well, Gardner definitely had the time on that play. He was able to sit back there for a long time after the play fake and look for a receiver. Here you see the little sprint out to his right. He looks back to his left, and had that been a ball that was thrown on the money, you got yourself a big play.
Now, Gardner has not started at quarterback all that often. In fact, coming into the game, he had thrown only 23 passes this year, completing roughly half of them for 204 yards. He's thrown 2 touchdowns, but Gardner's been picked twice. In fact, that's been the problem for St. Ed's. Kyle Skozen, who started most of the season, was intercepted 8 times, and now the swing pass intended for Damian Pride is dropped, and they'll rule it a forward pass and not a lateral, so it's incomplete. And it is 3rd and long now for the Eagles. Ed's not noted for its passing attack, and well, you can rule that possibly a lateral because it went behind Damian Pride. The Raiders played it through till the final whistle.
It was close, and I tell you what, that whistle didn't blow till late, and Harding players aware of the situation, pounced on the ball, but they say it was an incomplete pass. It's strange, though, that Ed's got to the 40 by running the ball, and then we saw, a couple pass plays there, so they went away from what was working for them a little bit.
Yeah, now they're faced with a 3rd and 15 from the 40. Anthony Gardner out of the gun. Looks for Nakamura. Robinson off the corner with pressure. Pass is complete, however, to Ryan Mirando, the tight end. He makes the grab in Raider territory. Tackled by Nate McLeod at the Harding 41. Ryan Mirando's 5th reception of the season.
A lot of pressure. Really the first time Anthony Gardner's had some pressure, but tight end does a nice job of getting in between the two zones and picks up the big first down right there.
For Mirando, he had 2 receptions in the victory against Strongsville last week. So of his 5 grabs, 3 have come in the playoffs. So Mirando, not a common target during the regular season, Ralph, but St. Ed's starting to go to their tight end a little bit more now, or at least Mirando in the postseason. And he makes it a 19-yard reception to give Eds a first down in Raider territory. Back to Ryan Adkins. Pulled to the ground by Preston Kelson. Joe Finnessy also in there defensively for Harding. Ryan Adkins runs the ball to the Harding 37-yard line for a pickup of about 4. Three minutes remaining in the opening quarter. Raiders' opening drive resulted in a punt for Lakewood St. Ed's. This is their initial offensive possession of the night, and the series began on the 3, and they have subsequently moved it to the Harding 37-yard line. Nakamura goes in motion for the Eagles. Anthony Gardner on the keeper. First down as he runs the ball to the 29. Pulled to the ground by Roger Matlock. But it's a gain of 8. And boy, Eds has been very methodical on this drive, at least when they stay on the ground.
Yeah, they're really pounding the ball. And, you know, you talked at the beginning about their offensive linemen, how big. You talked about number 75, Alex Boone and Nick Limbaugh out there. And they're really moving that Harding defensive line around.
Well, the Raiders have
we think they're the most physical team that we've played, easily the most physical team that we've played. We like the way their kids play. I mean, they play hard. They test your toughness. They test your manhood, and we respect the heck out of them for that.
And there's a look at the Raiders coach. And boy, last year Warren Harding pulled one out of the fire, a game we had broadcasted here on Fox 1762. The Raiders won it by 2 on a last-second field goal. So you have to figure if there's maybe a mental block for Eds. Their head coach John Gibbons kind of scoffed at that when the two teams met in the regular season, when he was asked if Harding has his team's number. And I don't know if you really look at it like that, Ralph, but there has to be something to this current success that Harding has enjoyed over the Eagles.
Yeah, and really over the last couple of years, Harding has enjoyed a success against a lot of teams. And, you know, they're big, they're physical, they're intimidating, and you know, that goes a long way when you play this game. But so far tonight, it's been St. Ed's that has been the physical, intimidating team.
Well, off the timeout, the Eagles flagged for delay of the game. Now on the end around, it's Haruki Nakamura, grabbed by Anthony Hoke and pulled to the ground at the 33, so it results in only a gain of 1. They've tried that a couple of times this season and has not worked any great amount of success. And now it'll be second and long for Eds. But it'll be the 13th play of the drive coming up, and we're down to 2 minutes and 20 seconds left in the first quarter. And anything else, if nothing else, Ralph, at least Warren Harding's explosive offense has remained on the sideline.
Yeah, you know, and that's key for St. Ed's. If they could, you know, practice this ball control offense and get a score and take some time off the clock, it'll definitely be to their benefit.
And they've utilized about 7 minutes of the clock here in the first quarter on this drive alone. Anthony Gardner hit in the backfield by Nate McLeod, finished off by Deshaun Robinson. Harding steps it up defensively. Gardner goes down right around his opposition's 36-yard line, and that's going to be a loss of about 3, maybe 4 yards.
Yeah, if the quarterback takes hits like that, you're not going to want him to run the ball too much. Here you see he kept it a couple times, had some success early. And there you see Deshaun Robinson finish him off, and that's a big-time hit.
So the ball now sits on the Harding 36-yard line. And it is 3rd and 17 for St. Ed's. Anthony Gardner out of the gun, wants to go back up top. Steps up, delivers. Pass incomplete. Here come the penalty flags. Good call because the pass intended for Ryan Mirando, but he was interfered with by Roger Matlock.
Yeah, Matlock has his hand on his shoulder and it brings the other one in front, and both referees called it down there, the back judge and the side judge. So
there it is, defensive pass interference. And what makes that costly? It's a 15-yard penalty, but it gives the Eagles an automatic first down.
Yeah, you see some pressure, but you know, Gardner able to step up, and Gardner came up with Miranda came up with a big pass catch earlier and interfered with there and picks up the first down either way.
And when the coaches look at that, Ralph, they're going to realize that Matlock didn't have to interfere. The pass was a little too tall maybe for Mirando to come up with the grab, which would have made it incompletion, and it would have forced Eds into a 4th down. And now they've got a first down on the Harding 21. And the drive continues for the Eagles. 1:10 remaining here in the first quarter. Give to Ryan Atkins, met in the backfield by Phil McNeil. Atkins will go down at the 23-yard line. That'll be a loss of 2.
Really the first time tonight that Atkins has been stopped in the backfield. He's enjoyed some success tonight up the middle, but Phil McNeil able to come off his block and make a nice solo tackle.
Well, the big thing here, this will be the 15th play of the drive coming up for Lakewood St. Ed's. We're down to 40 seconds left in the first quarter, and this drive began with about 9 minutes left in the opening frame for the Eagles. Faced with a 2nd and long from the Harding 23. Give to Bailey. Ball knocked loose. On the floor, Ben Elser recovers for Warren Harding. So all that time comes up empty for St. Ed's, and the Raiders defense bends a little but does not break. Ben Elser with the fumble recovery.
Yeah, you're disappointed if you're St. Ed's. You have a nice drive. You put a nice drive together, pick up a couple big plays, and you come up with the turnover here. We saw it earlier. Harding likes the big hits, and they're a ball-hawking offense and ball-hawking defense. They almost caused a turnover down around the 50-yard line. Now they get one on their end. So defense steps up when they needed to.
The 11th fumble recovery by Harding's defense this season. That fumble was forced by Deshaun Robinson and recovered by Ben Elser, and it gives the Raiders the ball on their own 22. Richard Davis looking for a gap. Runs it out to the 26-yard line. Davis tackled on the play by Ryan Rappas. And that may be the final play of the opening quarter. And the Raiders will indeed allow the clock to expire. So we have completed 1 quarter from Fawcett Stadium, right next to the Pro Football Hall of Fame here in Canton. And our score after 1, it primarily because St. Ed's dominated play with a 15-play drive that resulted in a fumble. So Warren Harding, as the second quarter gets set to get underway, will have a 2nd down from the 27. Alex Ingram on the keeper. Runs it out very close to the 1st down marker. In fact, I think from the spot, they'll put him down near the 33, and that should give the Raiders 4 fresh downs to work with. Yep, it is a 1st down for Warren Harding. So 2 runs, one by Davis and one by Ingram to open up the second quarter, gives Warren Harding a 1st down.
Ingram showing his experience there. You know, Jim Harrison, number 59 for St. Ed's, came on the blitz. He would have no chance to elude it, so he knew as soon as he saw the blitz coming, he took off and ended up being a 1st down. So smart play by Alex Ingram.
Davis, the lone setback, joined in the backfield by Jimmy Butts. But the officials have thrown their flag here, stopping the clock with 11:37 to go in the first half. No score between Harding and Ed's. Dead ball fouls are called. Illegal procedure against Warren Harding. So each team has now been penalized twice in the first quarter. Warren Harding will add 1 here in the second quarter. That's the Raiders' 3rd infraction of the night, totaling 25 yards. That's half of their per-game average. So the ball moves back to the 28-yard line. 1st and 15 now for Warren Harding. Andre Boomer goes in motion for the Raiders. Toss to Richard Davis. And it's Davis out to the 29-yard line for a minimal gain on the play. Davis led this team in scoring with 21 touchdowns, 20 of those this year on the ground. In fact, Warren Harding averaging 38.5 points a game. So to keep that offense off the board in the first quarter, Ralph, was a moral victory for Eds.
Yeah, and for Harding, you know, Richard Davis is the key. Once you get that running game going, it opens up all those other things like the passes to Manningham, the passes to Spark. So definitely I know Coach McDaniels wants to get that running game with Richard Davis going.
So it is 2nd down for the Raiders from the 29. Ingram throws it back to Mario Manningham. Flag down. Andre Boomer is going to be called for holding. Manningham will go down up to the 33-yard line, but the play will be negated because of the hold. That's either going to be a hold or an illegal block in the back, but it will be against Andre Boomer, and it happened right after the grab by Manningham.
Yeah, Boomer has one guy to block out there and tried to block him. Guy turned his back, but I'm almost positive they're going to call a hold here.
Now, if Eds declines the penalty, it's still 3rd and long, but I would imagine you'd force Warren Harding back. And it is an illegal block in the back against Andre Boomer of Harding. And here's a look at it again, and this is what we're talking about.
And again, Manningham's one of your stars. You want to get the ball in his hand as often as you can, and you try the little swing pass to him, and you get a penalty out there. And again, these penalties are going to be costly for Harding because they started to move the ball here a little bit, and now 2 penalties in 3 plays, you find yourself in a big hole.
Raiders' 4th infraction of the night. Now they have the ball on the 18-yard line. They need to go to the 43 for a first down. Ingram throws to Manningham, pass through his hands. Coverage by Joseph Kleinsmith. And now it is 3rd and 25 for Harding.
You know, I like the call, even though it was 2nd and long, Mario Manningham's out there one-on-one with Joe Kleinsmith, and Kleinsmith, respecting the speed of Manningham, is playing about 15 yards off. So they're trying the quick hitches because you're going to bring him up, and hopefully later on you can go deep with Manningham. So, you know, some might question the play call, why you throw a short pass on 2nd and forever, but, you know, you're setting things up for later in the game.